This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Dice. Welcome back to another episode of Rettinger's Rants. It's the show where I rant and rave on anything from the world of technology or sometimes a little bit outside of it. This week, Microsoft Surface. The new Windows 8 tablet is coming and coming very soon on the 26th, but the pricing scheme leaves a little bit to be desired. Let's go ahead and get ranted. So a few months ago, we had the privilege of checking out Microsoft Surface tablet in the flesh when it was announced by a very sweaty Steve Ballmer. It looked absolutely amazing. The build quality, the software, the way it felt in the hand, everything about it screamed awesome. One thing we didn't know was release date or price. Well, earlier last week, Microsoft said, hey, Windows 8 is coming on the 26th. That's when the Microsoft Surface RT version is going to be coming. And we were very excited. And then they announced the pricing. For the 32GB model, it comes in at $500, which on its own doesn't seem exorbitantly expensive. But when you factor an extra $100 for the touch cover to essentially let the tablet do everything that it can, since you do need a keyboard, you do need a mouse, it becomes quite an expensive proposition. So that $500 price point is exactly the same as a 16GB iPad, and we'll use that for most of this as our references. So what makes the Surface a little bit unique? Well, it does things that any other tablet right now really can't do. So first, you get a full-blown operating system on it. It's coming with the free copy of Microsoft Office, but what it's missing is regular laptop and desktop functionality. So you're going to need to either have at home a dedicated keyboard, a Bluetooth mouse to use with it to be able to sort of make it a full computer. The touchscreen is great for some things, but when you want to bang out a really long letter, you need to write a paper, touchscreen's just not going to cut it. But chances are you're not going to want to carry a portable keyboard with you and mouse with you everywhere you want to go, so that touch cover really does become almost a necessity to have with you. But a $600 proposition is becoming very difficult to justify, especially with the Pro version perhaps coming a few months later at maybe not that much of a price difference. The big question to ask yourself is, what are you going to do with your Microsoft Surface? If your answer is, I want to browse the web, I want to check email, I want to download some apps, if that's what you're looking for, you may be better off spending $200 on a Nexus 7, or perhaps the same amount or a little bit more for a Kindle Fire HD or one of the Kindle Fire offerings. You've got the new Nook tablets. There are a lot of other great low-cost options. Also, you've got, if you want to stick with a bit more open source and have flexibility in what you can do, then you've got a great Android option. There's so many tablets available. I don't know that I could justify spending that money for a Microsoft tablet. So a few things struck out to me as really red flags. First, I don't know what kind of software support it's going to have. I don't know what kind of apps are going to be available or how long it's going to take for that app ecosystem to really develop. Now, Microsoft is the big fish in the desktop OS world. 90% of the market share, they really have dominance. So presumably developer support will be there, but how long is it going to take? Developers are going to have to support an RT version, a Pro version. Is the profit going to be there for them to make apps for the App Store? You have to download them from a secondary source. How is that process going to work? So for Microsoft, should they have charged that much money for the Surface tablet? In my mind, the answer is definitely no. They had a huge opportunity to get in and really get tremendous market penetration for a lower price point. Even taking a bigger loss, I presume they're already taking a loss on this. Just get the tablets in the hands of people, get them buying the apps, get the word of mouth out there like they do with the Xbox 360. Originally, they lost money on each console. Eventually, component costs went down. They were able to make that money up. But in order to sort of get that mass adoption that they want, they're going to need to have tablets in the hands of people. And that price point, they're not going to be able to do it. And the funny thing is also they're competing with themselves. There are other vendors that are going to be putting out lower cost Windows 8 tablets. Not going to have official Microsoft branding on it. Might not have the build quality, but at the end of the day, it's still Windows 8. Windows 8 is Windows 8, but it's going to be very, very tough to justify that Surface price. It's going to be really, really expensive, and you're going to need a really good job in order to afford that. And speaking of finding a good job, if you want to get into the tech world, take a minute to thank our friends and sponsors at Dice.com. So Dice.com is a career hub for tech. For over 20 years, they've been helping connect technology professionals with highly targeted, competitive jobs they seek. And not only that, they kind of have a sense of humor, because finding a job can still be fun. Take a look at this clip from the Dice.com Tech Job Mega Show to see what we mean. Pretty cool stuff, right? Be sure to watch the full 2-minute clip at youtube.com/dice. And you can check out Dice's huge database of job postings right now to find the perfect tech job for you. Go to dice.com today, check it out for yourself.
Stop that.
I'm excited about the Surface. I want to try the Surface. I love the Surface, but I'm not sure if I was an average consumer if I would want to buy the Surface. Your best bet might be to wait a couple months, see if there's a price adjustment, or at least pick up a lower cost Windows 8 tablet option. $600 is really an expensive proposition. Maybe I'm way off base, maybe you're not gonna need the touch cover, but from what I've seen, you have to have a keyboard and a mouse, and I don't wanna carry a giant keyboard and mouse with me everywhere I go. Touch cover protects the screen, you're gonna need to buy a case anyway. It seems like you get the best of both worlds. For $100, it gets to be a really expensive proposition. Now, it does a lot, it certainly does more than Apple Smart Cover does, but when you put it all together for $600, it's gonna be a really tough one to justify. Do you agree or disagree? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you for watching another episode of Rettinger's Rants. Be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com for the latest and greatest tech news. I'm your host, John Rettinger. See you next video.